Happy draft day. It is Friday, the WWE Draft, October 1st. It is here, and we got some backstage updates ahead of tonight's SmackDown into the WWE Draft, plus a huge title match already scheduled for WWE Crown Jewel, a triple threat match, Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch. We're going to get into all of this today on the WWE Draft edition of the Top Story.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
What's going on, everyone? Happy Friday, happy draft day. It is the Top Story. I'm Jose G. Over here, Jeremy Bennett joining me ahead of tonight's live coverage here on Sportskeeda Wrestling for the WWE Draft. What's going on, broski?
What's happening, guys? I survived a night with James Storm. I'm here. I'm ready.
Boom.
We're gonna have a fun time tonight. So make sure you tune in about 15 minutes before SmackDown tonight, and all during SmackDown. We got some fun for you in store.
Yeah,
man.
we're gonna have trivia. We're gonna have giveaways. We're gonna have prizes. We're gonna have tons of stuff. We're gonna have messages from WWE superstars. So, guys, we're gonna have everything you need for your second screen experience while you're watching SmackDown tonight, live here on the Sportskeeda Wrestling Channel. Myself, Rick Ucchino, and Jeremy Bennett. We're gonna have live, in-depth analysis of tonight's WWE Draft. So, ahead of the WWE Draft, we do have some backstage news that came in earlier. We spoke about it a little bit. I think it was earlier this week or late last week that NXT was going to be a significant part of the WWE Draft, that they were going to be included. We have some more updates on that. What's going on, Jeremy?
I think Dave Meltzer from the Wrestling Observer watches our Top Story, because I said this exact thing a few times here, literally, that expect some NXT talents that you have not seen on TV since 2.0 started 3 weeks ago. Expect some of those talents to be drafted. And sure enough, Dave Meltzer reporting that he is under the impression that Xia Li, Dakota Kai, and Aaliyah are going to be ones drafted in regards to the female NXT superstars. And of course, all of these women have been working dark matches lately. All of these women have not, but Aaliyah hasn't been shown on NXT in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
Dakota and Xia have not been shown since 2.0 or even a little before in the case of Xia Li. So so definitely expect that. On the men's side of things, that's still up in the air. Mm-hmm. There are guys that you have not seen in 2.0 yet, like Austin Theory, for example. But maybe there's some surprises.
We saw him at the wedding.
Yeah. Maybe there'll be some surprises. Maybe, maybe Odyssey Jones gets a quick call up. Maybe Ridge Holland, because all of a sudden they had the rocket up his ass for a long time, and now he's all of a sudden losing every match. So maybe Ridge Holland is getting called up. I
think that would be a great addition to any of the brands, Raw or SmackDown. Ridge Holland's got that appeal, man. He's got that look where he looks like a powerhouse. He can go, and I would like to see him mix it up with like the Cesaros or Sheamus. I mean, I think that would be a pretty big banger match right there.
I predicted what Craig just said in the chat. I predicted Hit Row might get drafted up too. There's really not much else they can do with Legado. They did have the women's no DQ this week, but I mean, they've literally done everything outside of Santos getting yet another shot at the North American title, even though he hasn't really been winning matches. So I think Hit Row would be a good call up. I think they would be successful on the main roster. You got your Thunder and Lightning with Top Dollar and Ashante. You got Swerve, who is a top talent. And then, B-Fab is still kind of green, but, she put on a very entertaining match with Elektra on Tuesday. So
hell yeah. I mean, when you look at that match back, I mean, Elektra clearly has a bigger advantage over B-Fab because she's been in the game for a lot longer. Carissa Rivera has been in the independents for a long time, wrestled in Mexico, wrestled in Puerto Rico. So, I mean, she's already kind of a veteran in the game. B-Fab, not that much. I mean, Elektra carried that match.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that she got that win.
It was a good
on
match.
Tuesday night.
It was a good match. Yeah.
It was a good match. But it was just throwing both of them into the deep end, no DQ right there. I mean, in NXT. We got a lot of people here in the comment section. John Lavender saying, will Drew McIntyre be drafted to SmackDown? That's been a big conversation. That's the big prediction. Drew goes to SmackDown, challenge Roman. There's already been some advertisements for Drew versus Roman for the Universal title at some live events. What do you think, Jeremy?
I think Drew and Bobby Lashley are going to get moved to SmackDown. I think Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch are going to go to Raw. I have to think about it a little more about another top male star going over to God. I fear it, but I fear Nakamura is going to Raw. I fear it because I don't want to break up Rick Boogs and Pat McAfee.
Want to break them up. No, we don't want to break them up.
But I would expect Rollins and Becky Lynch going to Raw, and probably another top male star. I can't think off the top of my. Well, I guess Big E counts as a top male star that has already moved, so maybe that evens it out with Big E and Rollins going to Raw, and Lashley and Drew going to SmackDown, and we all know that Roman Reigns ain't going anywhere. So,
guys, we got live coverage coming tonight at 8 p.m. starting around 7:45 for the post show. For the pre-show to SmackDown. Then we're going to have live coverage of the WWE Draft and SmackDown watch-along on all of our social media platforms. You can check us out on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So we're going to be simulcasting on all three of our social medias. Go ahead. If you haven't done it yet, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's very important you do that. You go subscribe, you smash that notification bell, so that way when we go live, boom, it comes on your phone, you click it, you get your second screen experience while you're watching SmackDown. That's simple. You watch SmackDown, you watch our analysis. Every pick in real time. We're going to be talking about the picks. We're going to be talking about the matches. We're going to be having giveaways today, guys. So make sure you are subscribed. Make sure you are following us on Facebook, because we're going to have tons of stuff to give away. We're going to be mentioning you out. We're going to have superstars chime in. All right. So it's really important that you guys show up tonight. Make sure you show up for the live coverage here on Sportskeeda Wrestling. So, Jeremy, what's our second story?
Well, before we go to the second story, a very a kind of not breaking news, but breaking tease that happened about an hour and a half ago.
Oh, yes.
Paige just typing into Twitter, just saying Paige here. Coincidentally, on the day of the draft, Paige saying Paige here.
How interesting, right? Does Paige go to SmackDown? Is she cleared? Can she wrestle?
Oof. Yeah.
That'll throw a wrench into things quick, man.
We could have some fun tonight, possibly. Breaking news from about a couple of hours ago. It has been made official. Kind of speculated that it may happen tonight, but instead the triple threat that has been expected between Becky Lynch defending her SmackDown Women's Championship against Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks is going to happen at WWE Crown Jewel on October 21st. Of course, at Extreme Rules, Sasha Banks made her return to cause a DQ, and these Crown Jewel pay-per-views are normally pretty not good, but I mean, this is a hell of a card for Crown Jewel. So maybe this will be one of the best Saudi shows that we ever see, because they really it's going to be hard to screw it up with the card that they've got on the table right now.
Yeah, man. It's interesting whenever we get the Crown Jewel pay-per-view, right? Like, we get these big title matches over there in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
We did have the first ever women's match in Saudi Arabia a couple of years ago, when what was it, Lacey Evans and Natalya went head to head. First time making history in Saudi Arabia. Great for them. They're starting to get a little bit more progressive over there when it comes to women's rights and things like that. And now it looks like they're continuing the tradition. But here's the thing: we as WWE viewers, consumers, analysts, and that cover the product, we're accustomed to seeing the costumes, everything. they're not going to have that. They're going to be completely covered up.
Long sleeve t-shirts and pants.
Long sleeve t-shirts and pants. And that's going to take away from the allure and from the spectacle that is WWE, let alone a triple threat mega dream match that we're going to see, but in Saudi Arabia in the middle of the day on a Thursday afternoon.
Unless they surprise us and got the okay from the government there. But I mean, I don't think it's going to take away from the product in the ring, because you got 3 of the most talented women on the roster going at it. So I think it will not really take away much, because that in-ring product is going to be so good on that match.
Guys, chime in, sound off in the comments. Let us know what your thoughts on this huge triple threat match scheduled for Crown Jewel coming up on the 21st of October, Thursday in the middle of the day. That's going to be broadcasted over here.
I took a half a day off, so I'm actually going to watch it live. I've never watched it live before, so I got half the day off, and then maybe me and Kev, maybe Jose, we'll do a post show afterwards.
Absolutely, I'll be available.
We've gone through our stories, so it's Freestyle Friday. We got a few minutes. How about some questions?
Yeah, let's jump into some questions here. What do we got on the list here? Uh-oh. Something happened to Jeremy, and I'm running solo, guys. So go ahead and sound off on your questions. Go ahead and bring him in. Oh, there he is. He's back in.
I don't know
what happened there.
I hit the back button on my keyboard somehow when I was reaching for the mouse.
That's funny. All right, man. So let's jump into some of these comments and questions here. Let's see. Michael Kanata, I think Drew and Lashley are going to go to SmackDown. I think that's a possibility. You mentioned it a little bit early in the broadcast. Mm-hmm. Let's see here. Hardy needs to stay on Raw. Well, he's not on Raw. He is on Raw, isn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
He says he needs to stay on Raw.
I don't know. I think Hardy would. I don't know. I mean, they finally started pushing him, but I don't know where else to be able to put him right now. So maybe it might do him better if they move him to SmackDown.
Probably. Let's see. Split up RK Bro. Do you agree with Molly Warwick?
There are people talking about it. I don't know. It's so popular. I think it would be dumb.
It's so good though. It is good, but
WWE likes to make up their own rules as they go along. So maybe they'll make a rule that champions can't be separated. And since they're champions, that they can't be separated. But
they're a two-man deal.
That group is so over right now. And Orton has pull with the brass, and Orton specifically requested to do this with Riddle. So I would assume Orton's pull, if he still wants to continue this, is gonna come through, and they're gonna remain together.
We'll see, guys. Sound off in the comments. Let us know. Justin Truett Campbell, I'd actually like to see Samoa Joe go to SmackDown and become muscle for Reigns.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, apparently his deal is mostly to not. I think the plan is to not have him wrestle and be in more of a backstage managerial type of role. And it was just happenstance with Cross going to Raw and the angle being so hot that they pigeonholed themselves to having to put the title on Joe. But the plan was not to have Joe in that type of feud, and so I don't think that's going to happen. But it would be pretty cool to have him on the Bloodline.
That would be cool, but can there be enough room for two Samoans named Joe?
I know. And then and then if you do the MLW crossover, you got a Jacob. So,
gee, that's too much, bro. It's too much. Jason Lewis on YouTube. They should just give up on the brand split and combine the roster. They did that a while back before 2016. They were combined for a while. But now we have all these titles. What do you do with all these titles? You just unify them?
The problem is they get into, you see this before, and this is the reason why they did a brand split. The problem is that you'll see the same guys over and over on both shows. And so to splitting it up, it enables more people to shine. So I while I like crossover on occasion, like maybe they did the quarterly thing. I think maybe they should do a monthly thing instead of a quarterly thing, because I like crossover. I like a little crossover, but I think there still needs to be a defined split, just because otherwise we're going to get Roman Reigns leading off both shows every week, and you don't want that.
Yeah, you'll get tired of him real quick. We have Gina Frontino, Roman, and the Usos drafted to SmackDown, so they stay on the blue brand.
They ain't moving.
Matt Canada, I think they split the Street Profits.
I think they are going to too. I think last Friday was a test run to see how Tez handled the main event spot with the top guy in the company, and he held his own. I think it was a test run, and I think they pull the trigger on that split tonight.
Justin Truett Campbell asking again on Facebook, what unlikely draft would you guys love to see? Unlikely. I would love to see the Bloodline head to Raw, but I know that's very unlikely because Fox wants to keep Roman on the blue brand.
Money. God, unlikely. Well, I already said it. Becky going to Raw. A lot of people didn't think that was going to happen. A lot of people thought maybe Bianca was going to go there. But when you look at the men and what top talent SmackDown can provide to move over to Raw, I think Seth Rollins leads the list for me there. And with Seth Rollins is going to go Becky Lynch.
John Lavender saying, if Becky gets drafted to Raw, expect the Women's SmackDown Championship to change to either Banks or Belair. Do we get that chase again with Belair chasing Banks? Do you think that's going to happen at Saudi Arabia?
Maybe. You could have Becky on both shows leading up to Saudi Arabia as the champion. So if she gets drafted to Raw, she could show up on both shows, which is perfectly fine. They've done that too. That'll probably, that's going to, guarantee again, change hands. Probably going to put it, I don't know. I could see it going either way. I could see it going either way between Sasha and Bianca. I fully expected Bianca to beat Becky eventually. So, maybe it's going to be the other way around and Bianca as the champion while Sasha restarts that feud going forward. Or maybe whoever gets drafted over to SmackDown starts a feud with Bianca. Who knows?
It's definitely going to be interesting. Guys, you guys can continue the conversation here in the chat, but more importantly, you can join us later tonight while we have our WWE live draft coverage. It's going to be me. It's going to be Rick Ucchino.
It's going to be me. It's going to be me.
But yeah, join us tonight, 7:45 on all of our social media channels, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. Subscribe, hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. So that way you can have the best second screen experience that you'll ever have. You're going to watch SmackDown, you're going to watch the draft live, and you get to watch us in real time with live analysis of what went down. Plus, we're going to have giveaways. We're also going to have some wrestlers and WWE talent chime in and sound off a little bit on the draft. So
Christopher in the chat, yes, I fully expect LA Knight to get called up tonight. Yeah. I fully expect him to get the call up tonight. Though he's going to have a match on NXT Tuesday against Odyssey Jones, but he'll just get squashed, and that's going to be his walk out the door.
His send-off. That's all right. The main roster can use somebody.
Yeah.
LA Knight. I totally agree with that. All right, guys. Well, that's it for the show. Catch us later in just a little bit over an hour. Catch us back here on the Sportskeeda Wrestling channel. We're going to have live analysis of the WWE Draft. All right, guys. Jeremy, besides being with me, you got any plans this weekend?
This weekend, I'm going to go to the Husker game tomorrow. A buddy of mine's got a band tonight. They play 90s and 2000s hip hop. So I'm going to go check them out after we get done being on camera. And then I'm going to go to the Husker game tomorrow night with my buddy. So a night game against Northwestern. Always going to be fun. Do a little hop ski around the bars and hit the night game up. And then just relax on Sunday and watch NFL Red Zone, baby.
Watch some football. All right, man. Well, you guys have a great weekend. Join us tonight. Well, that's it. So for Jeremy, I'm Jose G. And remember, when you're watching wrestling, what's the most important thing to do, Jeremy?
It's to get drafted to Raw and enjoy wrestling. Yeah.